Gaming tutor. Hoarding and collecting are synonymous. One has a societal stigma attached to it, while the other is more accepted within society. I can hoard video games or hoard retro game consoles. I can also hoard video games and keep them neat and tidy and presentable. However, I'm still hoarding them. Why? Because I like having lots of particular thing within that are valuable to me. I love the retro gaming scene, and I follow it since the AVGN days. I've not once bought a retro console or video game. I just use emulators because the plastic cartridge is not what I fell in love with. This might sound dark, laugh out loud, but I don't want to spend my time hunting down overpriced video games and consoles which aren't worth their price tag, like I said in silver, because I'll eventually die like many of us, and I can't take them with me to the great beyond. They're also not investments. I hate hearing people who buy lots of particular thing a particular thing for investment purposes. Unless it's gold or silver, it ain't worth it. If the retro scene gets onto the stock exchange, I'll change my opinion. Collecting things has gone on for eons, from Roman emperors to kings and queens. We all do it. It's in our nature to collect things which bring us joy and happiness. That to me is perfectly fine. But what I've noticed more within the retro gaming community is my game room is better than your game room type mentality. Once you enter the completionist mindset, you're no longer buying your nostalgia back, but rather obsessing over something while burning a hole in your wallet. Is it worth it? Not to me. But hey, if you're a millionaire, you can buy it all. Then again, if it was me, I would be on a beach with three blondes, a brunette, and the biggest cocktails, which can be legally consumed without going blind. There was someone, I forget who stopped by, might have been that boy Eddie, who talked about selling some of his collection. And if it's not you, I apologize. Selling some of his collection to, take their loved one on a boat trip. I think they might have went to the Bahamas or something, or Costa Rica. And I hear that, I'm like, that makes sense. Because, you're selling a lot of your video game memories, to trade for an actual memory. Now, some people would say, well, that's kind of silly. It's kind of stupid because, you'll have these games for a long time, much longer than your trips. But when you go on these type trips, especially other places, you have photos, you have these memories, you make new mementos. I'm not saying everybody that has huge collections should sell off their collections to go on, expensive trips or whatever. Sometimes you can actually go to Japan and your fans can actually pay for your trips to Japan. Isn't that neat? You don't have to sell a single game. Some people they got like that, but, between hoarding and collecting, like I said before, I in an open discussion channel like this, I like sparking that discussion, and I've heard passionate people on both sides. You come at it from a perspective kind of like, near and dear to my heart, which is like, yeah, I have some retro stuff. I've had some retro stuff, but more often than not, gaming tutor, chances are, I fell in love with the actual, games that I played, not the pieces of plastic. So if I get the same experience through emulators, maybe in somewhat better experience, because a lot of these emulators actually, in a lot of these games, like I said before, they look a little better. I would have to comparably go and get like a FrameMeister and all different kind of stuff to make it look almost as good as a current setup, on through my computer and my 65-inch 4K TV. I played some NES games the other day and it looked fantastic. I had some of these games at certain points. I've had some of these games that I played, but a lot of people probably, they want to go out and collect their past again. And I think that's fine, but a lot of people, these people, especially YouTubers, are doing it. It's like it's like twisting it to something else. They're taking what was a fun hobby of collecting and they're twisting it to actually being all about the money, and that's one thing I don't like about it. When you have these videos come out, somebody mentioned that Metal Jesus had a video about the Neo Geo, and in bright lettering, it was like, this is expensive as hell, and all the focus seems to be on the actual items and their price and not really like the games. So that's kind of sad when you see all these channels focusing on that, like it's a marketplace. I like that funny part you had in here, like, when it's on the stock exchange, I'll pay attention. There's so many times where people will say it's really great investments. Beanie Babies were a great investment. Comic cards were a great investment. But look at these things right now. You know, it's uh, it's just not a fantastic investment unless you maybe get out before the bubble pops. I don't get it. Now some of you actually have commented and said like, hey, you picked up a game up this much and you flipped it on eBay and you made a lot of money off of it. So yeah, I'm not saying you can't make money, but it's just weird to see all these people treating what should be, something that should be fun. Gaming should be fun, and twisting it into just being about the money. And when you have YouTubers competing with each other to get their collections up to par, and you can even see it, Radical Reggie will never say it, but he wants to have a collection like Hancock and Metal Jesus. And at the end of the day, you can't take it with you, like you said. So you have all these grown men fighting each other over who has the best collections, and you could obviously see it's ripe for satire, if not for me, from a lot of different other people.